morning, everyone. It's another episode of Just a Chat with Bumi Alabi. How are you doing? How has been your day, your week? I believe it's been awesome, like mine. So, today, it's a special edition, and what I mean by special edition is it's only me and my guest. And I have no other one here, sitting here right with me, than Mr. David Akimbulejo. Akimbulejo, Abi, that's Akimbulejo, aka Mr. Avalon, Daddy Avalon, aka Auntie Boss's sweetheart. Auntie Bosse, we are missing you here. I know you're supposed to be here together because I planned a couples edition for you, but you said you're not going to come. But don't worry, I'm coming for you later. But join me as I welcome Mr. David on seat today, on the hot seat with me. It's me and you today.
It's so nice to be here. Thank you so much for hosting me.
You're sounding so calm.
No, yeah, I should be calm because you are with me, so
I'm with you. So
it's nice to be here. It's nice to be here. Thank you. You're doing a good job. I want to commend you.
Thank you very much.
Keep it up.
I appreciate you. Thanks for always coming around whenever we call you.
It's
you know,
a privilege.
behind Just a Chat is one of the men behind Just a Chat. Please just help me appreciate him and celebrate him. I appreciate you. Yes, let's just go straight to the reason why we are here today. Is that, you know, people often run away from this discussion. They don't want to talk about it. The society don't want to talk about it. But it is real. It is there. It is happening. Oh, but for me, I believe in a balanced society. I'm not a feminist, and I'm not a masculine. What is opposite of feminist? Masculine.
Masculine.
You know, I support both gender. Everybody having equal rights. You know, at least for me, my belief system, my biblical belief system is that okay, this is the standard of the Bible, the Scripture. I believe in that, and also I believe in equality. Everybody being happy, having right to happiness, to joy, to be independent. You know, we all have happiness. We all have the right to live our life to the fullest. You understand? So we started a series on men who are going through abuse in their home, as an agony of men in an abusive relationship. Go deep, Abby. Yeah, it's deep. It's large and wide. You know, I would love you to talk about it from your own perspective on how men. And we talk about it generally and how we can help men. You can help your gender. We believe women always talk about their own emotional abuse, physical abuse, but rarely do we find a man that will come out openly and say, my wife do abuse me. First of all, let me ask, why don't men that go through this challenge have the courage to come out?
First of all, you see, the societal mindset or belief system that has, over the year, registered in the mind of men, especially in this part of the world, you know, you can't, for example, you believe that a man should not cry. A man should bottle up, and then, you know, that's what makes you a man. But I took exceptions some times ago when I was talking. I said I have a different perspective to that. Because the greatest man that ever lived, in this world, cried at the time. And that does not reduce his masculine power, doesn't reduce his manhood. It does give room for expression on how he feels with the situations. And he was told that a very dear person to him died. And he wept. And it was from that point I have to change my perspective, that it doesn't mean that if I cried, I am less man. It doesn't mean that if I express myself emotionally, I'm less man. It just, that mindset, that society belief that when you have an emotional outburst, as it were, you let it out, that it make you less of man, and that's the wrong perspective. However, the other side of it is that sometimes we bottle up those things because it differs from home to home, because we can't, there's nobody within the system that you can confide in, who will not strengthen you back, because the person you are confronted with, a woman, you are now letting something out, is like you want to break her down. Sometimes it's not in physical, sometimes it's in words. Men go through some, you know, abuse of words from their wife. And it is killing, because when an ego of a man is bruised and he cannot, you know, it takes another spirit to begin to see yourself as a man again. Especially when things are not going the way you want it to go in the home, and the woman is on the receiving end alone, not contributing anything. And then sometimes you now have to be like a little shift And then you see the woman just letting out things, because to be very candid, every woman has level of threshold. And so it differs from woman to woman. So, but some men has to just endure. You know,
Why do you believe men should endure should bottle up those issues? Why they are human, and they're entitled to express their emotion. As in, you guys go through some things and you keep compiling. You know, sometimes we women we easily we speak up, we bust out things that are troubling us. But you men, you don't say it out. And when you don't say some things out, we women will believe that, okay, you are fine with it. And we continue. In all honesty, a lot of women are doing some things, and we never knew that it is really hurting. Okay. But you know that, okay, you are being hurt and you are feeling like, I'm a man. Let me just keep it to myself. But it's hurting you deeply. So why should you? Is it because of the way we feel, or the way you think, or is an ego thing that you don't want to feel less? So it's about you first. Why don't you speak out? Why don't men speak out?
When you say speak out in this context, I want to really get the clarification. Is it to come out on air like women does, or to talk to somebody? Because there's always a men angle to gisting. We always talk with ourselves.
I know you talk. You guys, you talk. Don't you talk now? You hang out, you know. But when it comes to issues, I mean, for instance, an issue at home, and your wife say, okay, let's go and see. Okay, let me use the regular scenario. We go to see a pastor, because in this part of the country, people don't believe in therapy, seeing a counselor. I know maybe one of the things, I remember one time I asked my husband before he was really exposed to counseling. I said, what can you see a counselor for? Then I just got certified as a counselor, and he said, I don't need to see a counselor for anything except for financial counseling. I said, oh, so you think everything is about money? So don't you think you need a counselor that can
change your perspective.
Maybe apply some therapeutic stuff for you. You understand? So, you know, until you realize that, okay, there's more to. I have some emotional needs that some professional can actually help me out. You understand? So that thing. So the first time we went for therapy together, I think it changed his perspective a lot. But let's look at the instance of people going to church, to their pastor, to see them for counseling. For a woman to say, before you can see a man that will say, okay, I want to go and see my pastor to report my wife, the wife would have gone to see the pastor like 10 times. So do you think maybe you are man enough to manage situation? I don't want them to look at me as if I'm not enough capable to you understand? So why? I really want to understand the reason why.
That psychology is there. We can't rule it out. I mean, you know, when you begin to run to your pastor every now and then on marital issues, you like, will the pastor not be seeing me not capable enough to handle something? Because the man too, as a pastor, he possibly be going to something who has managed the situation. And so there's that psychology things that are like, let me manage these things myself. Let me not, let me not disturb. I can get over it. But you see, like I said, that's why I wanted to know, who do you talk to? And I'm happy you're able to analyze or, you know, talk about it. Men do comes out when it comes to their women have really dealt with them. I was privileged to follow up a couple as because of my, you know, where I privileged to serve as a pastor. My senior pastor, my father-in-law, sent me to follow up a particular couple, and the man has going through some emotional abuse. I mean, you know, was emotional down time, so to say, because the wife has not been able to meet up with some certain need, and the man is trying his best. And there is nobody to talk to. The man is going through. So when I was privileged to follow him up, I was so shocked. And I do see him every day on church. And I was like, wow, this is what you go through? How can you have for 6 months, 7 months, your wife refused to, you know, satisfy you sexually, not able to touch your wife? And not that you are not providing, not that you are not, but the wife, you just say, I'm serving the Lord, it's the best thing to do. And the woman was, I started talking to him. He opened up. He said, Pastor, let me be very open. You know, so that's what I'm saying. Sometimes. So
not that the man came to you, you were the one that went to him.
Yes, he actually have called our pastor, father-in-law. And then he asked, okay, no problem. Pastor David, you follow them up.
So for him to even have come out to
you get what I'm saying.
It has really reached the peak.
Because the way men are wired, it's not from the way women are wired. So sometimes we have that capacity to withhold some things, and women don't have. And you know, when we are not looking for who to let her, we believe man like me should understand. So except on the very rare cases where you now believe that if you tell the woman like a woman like your wife, she's able to like, is a woman like her, let me talk true to her hair. That's when you see a man that walk up to the woman, this is what I'm passing through. But
how about talking to the wife directly instead of going to a third party?
That's a very, very sensitive question. You see, when you have issues at home, fine. homes affair differs. I understand that. But the reality of the matter is that whatever is applicable in one home
Might not work for
might
us.
not work. So if you are talking to her and she's not ready to listen, you talk and talk, which is one of the things this man I follow up said. You talk and talk on this and you want to prove a point. I have a right to live. I'm also I have other things to follow up. It's not about, in fact, he told me that is eating food. I mean, the man was so like, you can hear him, Pastor, is here food? What are you talking about? I mean, so when you're like talking to her and she's not listening, you're talking, she's not listening, you're like, move back to yourself. You know, because if I'm talking, you are not needed to correction. What is this of talking? Let me look for somebody else I can open
Talk
up
to.
to. So that's another aspect. So if the wife don't see anything wrong in what she's doing, is one of the dangerous things in a home setting.
That is, the wife is not a teachable wife. She's not
Yes,
ready
she
to
feel
learn.
these things I'm doing.
right.
Yes, I'm on my right. I'm doing it. There's nothing big about it. I give an example. There was a time I was going through some certain things in my home mindset, and I didn't get to understand the stage at which my wife is, because I later studied that at that particular age there are some certain things that do change. And then in talking to a friend of mine, personally, he opened me up to. So I said yes. I said, because there are some certain things that you yourself as a man, you know, can hinder this thing. But they are reality to you that you cannot hide. But the wife is also aware of it. So you are like, you should know this thing now. But the other thing that should be addressed is there. You are not addressing it. So I have to take a pain to go and learn that, oh, this is the state my wife is. And two of us, not conscious, but somehow we went and then we sat together, we were talking as a family talk, and she mentioned the wife was not talking from my experience. That's why I said sometimes when the woman talks to woman issues, maybe you have overcome, women tends to listen. Because we are not in my shoe, man, pastor. That's why you don't understand. But when the woman is talking to a woman on the same subject, and to be very candid, you change the perspective. Oh, that's true. And from that moment, there was a change. So one, if the woman is teachable, if the woman is ready to listen, then the husband also will have a way to pour out and open up. This thing you are doing is not right. But I talk one today, I talk two today on the same issues, and we are not. The man would like, I better make her leave this woman, Jerry. And yet he's going through that emotional pain. He's going through that situation that he doesn't know who to talk to until possibly he now see a fellow of his they can open up to. So there are many things that leads to when the man will not be able to open up.
Thank you very much. I think to buttress that point, most of the times there are some underlying issues that we tend to just overlook. Like what you said, your own experience now. You were thinking the way she was responsive to you was the main issue, not knowing that there was something else that she was really going through. So until you were able to to go deeper and find out the real cause of why she was behaving that way. There's a say that before an action there's a reaction. That one is there. Underlying issue, not dealing with the issue beneath. Like the woman that you make an example of now, perhaps, I don't know, perhaps there's an underlying, sorry, this thing is dead. It's dead. Like the woman you talked about, perhaps there could be, I'm not saying this because I'm a woman, but, at the same time, I want us to balance things up. Perhaps there's an underlying issue that might have affected the home. What could make a woman say, I'm going to deprive my man of sex for like 7 months? It's at least, we talked about it like some weeks ago that for every man, and as much as men need sex, women too also need sex. But once we realize that, okay, a woman is really trying to abstain from sex, then definitely there should be more to it. It could be an health issue, or the woman just doesn't feel the drive, doesn't feel the urge. And I think some weeks ago we talked about this again too, like how a woman can really increase their libido. So I believe there should be a balance. You are not, the first month you don't have the drive, you don't have the urge. The second month you don't have the urge, madam. I think there's you need to really check yourself. You understand? So it's a balance thing. So you don't need to, once you say you want to get married, if you want to, for singles out there, let me say this to you again. If you want to get married and you see that, oh, I don't like this thing we're talking about, I think you need to really see a doctor, a specialist, before you even get married, because you won't get there and you begin to say, is it a food? To men, get it right now to you. To men, it's food for them. If you don't get it now, forget about it. It is food for them. So if you know that, okay, your drive is somehow low or you have some health challenge, I think you need to really address this before you get into marriage. And maybe for people that just get married for the first few months of your marriage, you realize that, okay, you're having challenge in this area, I think you need to really try to understand yourself, try to talk about it. As a man, talk about your need. Is she satisfying you? As a woman, is your man satisfying you? Talk about this. I think we talk about communication, the way we communicate with ourselves. You were able to communicate with your partner, and it worked out well. But in a situation whereby, you know, the husband tries to communicate with the wife, and he realized that for every communication, it's always bad. It ends up, you know, with argument. You know, they don't really reach a real conclusion. So I think our communication level, if as a woman you are not really open to communicate with your partner in a way that both of you will reach a common ground, I think such man will never want to talk to you again. Will never want to talk to you about the same issue again, because men tend to withdraw when their ego is being bruised. Maybe, you know, like a man that you talk to, is it food? Sure, you don't have anything to do with your life. You don't have money. You are not bringing food to the table.
He's even bringing. The guy is so hardworking, and you go in the morning and come back in the night, and then he's bringing. He has his own business and he's doing well.
You understand? You understand? Well, you know, this is one part of, you know, we talked about it last week about, you know, that's the sexual abuse. You understand? But, you know, I really want us to talk about how to help men going through that, because that's really where we are. Men going through that abuse, because for women going through similar abuse, whether physical, verbal, whatever, different emotional abuse, by the time the woman come out, you know, some people come out, we you know, we can be dramatic. There are some that are real, and there are some that they are, you know, they make it look more realistic, so that they will gain pity. You know, there was one actress sometimes that, you know, came out and said his husband was abusing, her husband was abusing her rather, and, you know, that she did all sort of things on her face to make it look weird, look somehow, you know. And I was like, you don't need all this drama before people can believe that yes, your husband really abused you. You understand? So how can we really help men? People tend not to believe men that when they talk about some things like this. How can we really help them?
The thing is a relative thing. So it's relative because it differs from men to men.
Okay.
But the point is that I think we need to educate people is that there's no need for you to just bottle up. All right? There's no need for you to just say, I can handle this thing, when there are solutions, where there are people you can open up to. Not necessarily your wife, because possibly your wife is not listening to you, but at least you're able to have somebody you can confide in, maybe a friend or family or counselor, a pastor, that you can, you know. So it is important. If there's anything anybody is going through, there's no problem. It's not a crime to open up.
So sorry, before you continue, that reminds me of something. One of the reasons why people don't really open up, because of judgment, shame, ridicule by people.
Yeah.
And I think that's why there is need for people like our pastors, our clergymen, to really, you know, handle some things professionally. I mean professionally in the sense that if you don't want to see a therapy or a counselor, you know, people don't want to see, they might not be able to afford these people, but you as a pastor, they trust you so much that, okay, their secret, their pain, their hurt is really that they can trust you with their secret. You know, somebody make an instant like, this is why we don't talk to pastors. I want to talk to your pastor about some things you go through. The next thing is you hear it on the pulpit, you use it to preach. You know, I think we need to address this to some of our men of God. I thank God for my own pastor. My pastor is never like that, you know, but I know there are some pastors that once you talk to them about what you are going through, they, you know, how to address conflict. I think we need to talk to people, maybe number one, society, family. Family are closest to you, apart from your pastor. As a family, if you're one of your family member comes to you and say, my wife is abusing me, how do you address that?
Yeah, you see, let me just say briefly. Pastors are also spiritual therapists.
Okay.
All right, they are looking at it from angle of spiritual.
Yeah.
Why the secular, whatever, they are emotional and, you know, professional. Yeah. So the thing is that is unethical. Okay. Very unethical for a pastor to use someone who has confided in him. A pastor taught us about this. We're trained to now use it to preach. You know, so but there could be a reference point, not to use it to preach, to now make it look like the person possibly is in the church that day. There could be a reference point to make the person feel good that this is, that I found a solution. All right, so not to use it that I cannot imagine. How can you? You understand? Kind of, when somebody has confided in you, you call yourself a man, you can do this one, you call yourself a woman, because somebody has told you something. You're not using it, so it's totally unethical. And there are some certain things that must not even be heard outside, because somebody confided in you as a pastor, not even to your wife. It's unethical, it's unprofessional, it's not something that goes with that line of talk. So let's not say, Pastor, that all of them are the same.
Yeah.
I'm happy you're able to at least 1, 2, 3 people will sit there. Now, you mentioned the place of coming to talk to pastors and all of this stuff, but the point is when you talk to your pastor, you're going back to the society. You're going back to your home. You're going back to your workplace. You see, this mindset, men really need to rediscover themselves. You need to know who you are as a man. You must understand the dimensions or the kind of things that work for you. That is not general. It is you. One of the things that home, experience, or that is very key to success in home, is understanding. It's not even the money. It's not even understanding your spouse. This is your spouse. This is not somebody else's spouse. There was a particular short clip. I was led to be in a group time once upon a time, and we're having a couple's time out. So I was led to anchor. So I play a clip for them. Just take me the way I am. That's the short clips. And the woman grew up somewhere in a barrack, and this other one grew up somewhere outside barrack, but this other one grew up, was trained by a military man. Everything was being tutu. And the woman will sleep. I mean, we want to eat. We're going to sleep on the floor to eat. When there's dining table, the husband is so mad at her. Why would you go and sleep on the floor to be eating? He want to poo. He will not close the lid. He will not flush. He will. The woman was going through a lot of pain. She doesn't know how to. The man will be shouting until now wants to leave his wife. That I cannot imagine. My wife is not organized. It's not there. Her friend now told him, you must take her the way she is. Has your wife eat and use the hand to clean body before? He said, no. They say, my wife does. Really? That means my own is still better. And he said, you just learn how to manage your wife. And that changed a lot of things about the man. She went back home and then began to help her. And then one day she was eating on the floor. She now come and sat with her. Two of them, they said, what is happening? I want to eat with you. Let's eat here. Let's enjoy here. So you must understand your wife. Understand your husband. Don't go and compare your husband or your wife with another person. So that is one of the key things in home. When you understand your spouse, they will not be need to go. Because I have someone on, verbal abuse. One of the things that causes when you see maybe your friends doing something in their home, you now come back home. See your friend, he just bought something for his wife. And you are here, you are giving me, is that what I will take? All those kind of things. You don't know your husband is different from that man. You are beginning to compare. So that comparison will cause a lot of things in a home. And so for men, I don't want to give a straight jacket answer. Understand your wife. And if for any reason you are going through either emotional abuse or verbal abuse or physical abuse, please don't keep it to yourself. I'm going to say counselor, see your pastor, talk to someone, don't die in silence. Because I've seen situations like that. The man was crying on the camera. I'm telling you, was like, who do I want to tell this woman that will believe me? My wife abused me, and truly the woman, just like you as a host, follow him up to the house. And the first thing he will receive is the attack. The woman pounced on him, beat him up. This is what I told you, I can't beat you. If I beat you, you will die. He said, I will not touch you. I will not beat you. He said, it's good. And it was not like this. So
the other was saying she was not like that.
He said, when I met her, she was a prayer woman.
Do you think maybe perhaps the wife was pretending while they were dating?
That's the point. He said, I knew you are a devil.
Hey.
He was talking. He said, we met in church. I didn't go to club to marry her. We met in church. He was a prayer warrior. I did that. I said, see, he was open. So it was a lot of pain he was passing through. And the lady that followed him was not the one that took over. I said, me, I will show you today that. How can you be abusing a man like this? You went outside to go and carry woman to come and fight me. He turned it upside. Also, don't keep it. Like we said, that trusts that if I let it out to people, can I trust them? With my word or my secret not be a headline news? Can they really help me? Can they help me? The next day will not be a headline news on social media. And you're like, wow, this person is going through this. You understand? So it's always very hard. But I just want to advise men. I've never gone through emotional abuse. I've never gone through physical abuse, but I've seen people by virtue of my area of calling that have gone through it and they confide in me. And it is not too bad when you open up. I round up by saying on that session, my pastor also sent me to follow up a couple. And it was me and my wife. We left that place almost after 12 in the night because we wanted to let's try to solve the matter. And one of the things the man was explaining was trying to prove a point, because you said something very key, that why is woman behaving like that? There will be some underlying factor. And my wife now said, okay, let's ask, why are you acting like that? We have not asked you, woman. He said, hey, you don't want to ask me. I was thinking, he said, my husband is cheating on me. And the man opened up and said, Pastor, it's true. And my wife caused it. So it was another subject we were able to address it. And then peace was restored in the home by the grace of God. So there are many things leads to it. So sometimes men too, they will come out to behave innocent. But what they are doing to the man, which is not yastic anyway, what they are doing to their woman at home too is also very terrible. When you are not there, it is you now, you are not coming out to be like an innocent. You are not the holiest and thou. But what you have done at home is also very dangerous.
You are not taking your responsibility.
You understand? That's another aspect.
You know, somebody said something that for every angel there is a devil within. That if your attitude bring out the devil in your wife, you will see devil. Raised to power 10.
Yeah,
you understand?
yeah.
So don't think, oh, because I married her, she's an angel, she's this. Doesn't mean she don't. Some people have some squishy to I'm sorry for my choice of word, you know. Don't think she's just calm. You know, there's sometimes you can push. If you are pushing a goat, you are running after a goat, and you push the goat to the wall. You follow after the goat to the wall. The goat could just turn by saying, "There's no way to run to again," and it will face you. You understand? You know. But
sorry, I know one day I was jokingly telling my wife, so you can run faster like this. We're talking so on the road. And then there was an argument, a kind of disagreement, so to say. And my wife was angry. And she walked past me faster than I do. Even with my long leg, I couldn't catch her. I said, so you can walk faster. When my resume said, you don't see her, get out. You know, so there's always a side where the woman too will react. And just find a way to balance up at the end of the day. So it might not be 100% a fault of the man, of the woman, but something which is not elastic. There's always a way to resolve matters, not on those gas. Like, you know, what they say, there's always a balance. And if you understand that, if I take my place, because I'm sorry to say, a lot of feminist kind of campaign these days is spawning a lot of dangers in home. You know, you have a right, you can do it. Man are not always did all of those things, but I believe God who places order in a home, plays it right. You are not there, He plays it right. That you have to take your place as a wife. By the time you are going to play a role of your husband, there will become a problem. Stay as a wife. Let the man take decision. You can suggest. And when you begin to see that kind of feminism and then you bring it home, there will be chaos.
I think that point wants to, I think on this, we can wrap up on this one, a control freak woman. A woman, you know, like the woman just wants to believe that, okay, maybe it doesn't give the man the right to, you know, you don't trust your man's decision, you know. The woman just wants to take the lead all the time. So let's talk about that briefly. You know, a control freak woman that always wants to take charge, is not ready to subject her will, a decision to the husband's decision. Where should the woman draw the line? There are sometimes that we women will believe that, okay, we too should have a voice to make a suggestion. And, you know, there are some men, you know, I stand to be corrected, there are some men that believe that, okay, a woman has nothing to offer. That as a wife, if you believe that your wife has nothing to offer, that one is a different case. But in a situation where the woman wants to take the all
She believes she's not heard. Her voice has to be heard.
To be heard, you know. She believes that, okay, the man doesn't have a say, the man doesn't have a say, you know, just want to be in charge of decision. Like, sorry, before you talk about that, there's one clip I saw also, I think I shared it last time I was talking about this, whereby the man and the woman were invited for a program and they were being asked, I think the man was asked what maybe about their challenges in the home, and he said, our wife is so stubborn. Our wife is so stubborn that people complain about her. She's so adamant. She's as like a control freak woman. And the man said something so that sounded so absurd that in fact it was that stubbornness that attracted him to the woman.
Okay, I think I saw it.
That it was that stubbornness that attracted, and I was like, how would you say somebody that everybody is saying she's stubborn, she's adamant, she's this, she's that? How would you say that it is that stubbornness that attracted you to? You know, there could be some men like that, that they like a woman that could stand for herself,
not giving up on it,
not giving up, you know. And I think that man didn't really, he didn't explain it very well. He liked the positive vibe of such a woman. We call them alpha women, a woman that are strong, that are bold, that can face any challenge. You know, that is the characteristic of such a woman. That woman tends to be a control freak woman, no doubt about that. And a man that said he loves his wife, he's attracted to the wife because of that, not because he wants the woman to lord over him, but because he believes that the woman is going to be a go-getter. That whatsoever she puts her mind to,
that's it.
So that's the positive side of that kind of woman.
Yeah,
But
there's
now
a need
the
for
negative,
balancing.
the negative aspect of it that okay, you don't, your husband doesn't have a say, you know, you don't give that respect. I think maybe just briefly to wrap it up, just talk
Okay,
about that.
just let me talk first of all to men. Now, there are men that believe that their wife's voice should not be heard.
Should not be heard, yeah.
I'm the man, I have the right.
That's an insecure man.
Yes, I have the right. Yeah, that's the word. I have the right for everything.
Every
He
decision.
doesn't have anything. But I want to say to all the men in that category, your wife has a mind. He's not a dummy. She has a mind of her own before you got married to her. And if he's a Christian like me, your blood did not redeem her. Your blood of Jesus redeemed her, and her mind has been transformed. So believe that she doesn't have access to God, access to Holy Spirit. So don't see her that she doesn't have a contribution. And maybe it's the approach that has to be addressed. So you must be able
Okay,
to
the
know.
approach the woman is
Yes,
okay.
that's what will lead me to the women now. But then men also understand that the wife also has something to offer. Now, when it's not about temperament, all right. So, but then may I say to women who have that control freak mindset that, but you must understand, it's a home. You are in a marriage setting now. That has to be done with discretion. It has to be done. Your contribution is a suggestion, not to be enforced.
On your man.
Yes, you are not to force it. And if your husband is a cool type, he will leave you and he will do what he wants to do.
There are
And
some
you
men
be-
like that.
I'm telling you,
Yeah,
you really want to
actually.
suffer. All your shout, he will just be looking at you. Because permit my vernacular. So you must understand that you are in a home setting. Marriage that God himself institute. You can suggest to a man, but don't impose on her. On him, sorry. Don't try to force your will. If for any reason you believe that your man is not seeing it and is the right thing, you can go to God. Because I can tell you one or two things that has happened. God has the heart of a man. Lord, let my husband see it in this way. And you, over time, you say, sweetheart, I think what you are saying that time is correct. And then the man believe. So, but don't use because it's not hearing, I must do my own thing, I must take my stand, and in the home setting, home suffer. The children will have effects of it at the end of this. So don't try to force. You are a wife, and you have to submit, even in your emotion, even in your will, submit to your husband. But I know that some men are also very passive because he works in different homes differently. That you will see, they will be the one to tell the wife. They are backing their wife to always be in front. But the wife doesn't take advantage of that. They still have a man. They have a man at home. But their wife, because I have somebody like that, the husband is a calm type. It doesn't have to be seen. But he's the one backing up the woman at home. So you always see the woman talking. You always see the man taking some decision. But even at that, you must not be taken advantage of. So don't try to force yourself. There's no wisdom trying to force yourself in a home and say, my will, my wish, everything must be the one my husband. If it doesn't listen, I will take my decision. I don't care. No. Nobody cares in home. There's an order that God has put in place. It has to be followed. And with that, peace can be maintained in the home setting.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this session, this wonderful session. You know, we really talked a lot, and you know, I could really pick a lot of points there, talking about how I think what we major on is men being able to open up, not being able to, not masking their pain. You know, you are a human being. You know, blood flows through your body. You have emotion, you have mind, you have feelings. So I think speaking up to people, to trusted people, is not wrong. But be careful who you talk to. There are some people that have gone to talk to friends that have given them wrong advice. That's why it's very important for you to know the kind of person you are talking to. You know, there are some men that you just go out, you know, some people say the reason why beer parlor are always filled with men is because they are going through some challenging situation, and the only place they can let it out is when they've really had enough alcohol and they are not in their right frame of mind, and they'll be able to express themselves. So what kind of sensible talk advice will come out from a drunk person? You understand? So I think you see your pastor, see a trusted pastor, see a therapist, a counselor is very important. Don't feel shame, don't feel guilty that you are going through it. It's normal. People go through it. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt so pain? Maybe I don't use the word cry, or maybe the height of it is cry by something your wife did to you.
Yes.
You've cried?
Yeah.
Wow.
But she was not aware.
She was up to now.
Yes.
Hey.
So she was not aware.
She wasn't aware too.
When she was doing it was not intentional.
Okay.
But in my own closet, I cried. Because the thing really touched me. And when we are now talking, and I tell her that you made me cry. I'm so sorry, but she didn't mean to.
I'm sorry.
It's normal, you know. So on my own, I did because we have to. Men has a way of thinking deep. We have a way of looking at situations.
And I think there are sometimes maybe words When words hit
I'm
men
serious.
hard,
No, no,
they
no,
cry.
no.
Oh,
That's why I say verbal abuse is
verbal
very,
abuse
very, very
is-
wonderful.
It's even more, it's more painful than physical
Sometimes
abuse.
we women, you don't even know the danger of it. You
We don't know, that is it. Now that's the way we are wired. We just say it the way it is.
Yeah.
That's why I say sometimes we say some things we don't know that it is really hurting. You understand? But I think sometimes we should always put ourselves in the situation of men. As a woman, I'm talking to you now. Put yourself in the situation of man and just assume that same word, the way you raise your voice, the way you put your man down, assuming somebody puts you down that way, assuming somebody talks to you that way, how would you react? You have to always mirror it, mirror what you do, mirror the way you react to your husband. You know, that's what I always do sometimes. You know, that sometimes I feel, you know, I was going through some challenges, you know, I like it to be practical most of the time. My husband, you see that, oh, maybe he doesn't, sometimes he doesn't really express himself, he doesn't talk, and, you know, there was time we were going through something, and he was like, don't you think I have emotions?
Yes, yeah.
And I was like,
It's true.
Maybe you are a strong man and you always put on bold face that what kind of emotion? Me, I'm the soft one. I'm the one that should be emotionally conscious of what I go through. He said, I go through
We
emotion.
have
I
emotions,
feel
it's
it."
true.
I was like, okay,
True,
you feel
true.
bad, you know. So you know, we believe that you guys are not really emotional, but we are trying to understand that yes, you feel emotion. You feel sometimes emotional, you have feelings, you have pain, we hurt you with our words, with some things we do. But please, my gender, I'm going to wrap up on this case. Please, try as much as possible to understand your man. Understand when he is not there. There are sometimes that your man will be living with you, but he's not with you. There are sometimes that are living on the same bed, but there's no connection. And you feel like, oh, things should be going on, what is really happening? Like me, I try to talk. If I'm going through something and I don't like it, I try to talk. But I want to talk to you, gender, your male gender too. You repeat them. Please, when we talk to you, don't be defensive. Try to understand us that we express ourselves the way we understand best. And if you don't like it, my husband to tell me that I don't like the way you talk. Most of the time, we women, I don't know about him, but we talk from the conclusive angle. We already conclude on it. You are this is what you have done, but you know, the man will feel so hurt that this is not what I'm trying to do. I'm not doing this thing. This is not me. This is not what I'm trying to explain to you. You understand? But we have already concluded.
Yeah.
So please, women, let's try and understand our spouses. Like you rightly said, that we should understand that our spouses go through some emotional pain, our choice of words, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, you know, sexual abuse. There is room for communication. This is very important. I think it all boils down to communication. Your manner of communication, the way you receive it when your husband is talking to you, the way you talk to your husband, and also always put yourself in that situation that, okay, if I'm being addressed this way, if I'm being talked to this way, if I'm being deprived of what makes me happy, how will I feel? So I think we need to really strike the balance. If you are going through abuse as a man, please open up. Talk to a trusted person. Somebody that you know you can really trust. It could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be your pastor. And at least I will start as the pastors that you trust so much and professionals. These are people that I know they can really help you. Sometimes family could be biased.
Yeah,
You understand?
yeah,
Family
yeah.
could be biased sometimes.
They
but
want to support their
yeah,
own.
they want to support their home, but talk to a neutral person that will neither support any one of you, but will open the truth to the two of you. Thank you very much, Mr. Day, for this
privilege.
wonderful time.
Thank
I
you
hope
so
I didn't
much,
put you
sir.
on the hot seat.
It's a
You
hot
see that
seat,
I'm
but
very
I'm
calm
very
with you
calm.
today. All right,
Thank you.
till I
Always
come
a
your
pleasure.
way
Yeah.
again next time. But just stay tuned. Don't go away. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. You're going to watch the repeated episode on YouTube channel, on my Facebook, on Instagram. Please subscribe to it. And if you have any topic, any hot topic you want us to talk about, yes, please just DM, send it to me, and let's talk about it. It's about family life, love, building a structural family for a better and saner society. That's why we are here. So it's just a chat with Bunmi Alabi. Stay blessed. Bye.